We're gonna start over again. Yay.
Are you ready?
Shh. Okay, to read or not to read, that's the question. Since we were kids, we have been told that reading is good for us. Well, I questioned it. Is reading good for us, or can reading sometimes be bad? I love to read every day to the point that when I can't read, I get a bit frustrated with not being able to. I've become such a reader. My Kindle account keeps track of how many weeks and days I read monthly, and I'm telling you that's a real thing. During this speech, I would like to tell you about why reading is good for you, what can happen if you read too much, and disorders that can cause you to read too little. Let me begin by informing you about why reading can be good for you. Reading can be good for you for several different reasons. In the article To Read or Not to Read by Joya, the data included in the executive summary correlate the fact that daily reading habits lead to better reading skills and higher academic achievement. The writer in the article also states the effects of reading are crucial to people's lives and are dependent on how often and how much they read. The authors of To Read or Not to Read state that the statistics in the report have confirmed books change lives for the better. According to the theories of reading by Letow, people who read out loud seem to have more body involvement as opposed to silent reading where the body is immobile. In the article Benefits of Reading Books by Stambro, she is able to conclude that reading reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, heart rate, fights depression systems, prevents cognitive decline as you age, and contributes to a longer life. Now let's move on to why reading could possibly be bad for you. Reading can be bad for you in a few ways. According to the web article Dangers of Reading Too Much by RJ Chima, reading can lead to the brain being less productive because reading can cause the brain to be clogged with too much information. It can affect your social life because we get used to fictional humans than real life. The author also states that reading too much can deprive a person of sleep because the person can become so engrossed in reading that they do not sleep properly. As such, the author advised that to dedicate a certain amount of time to reading if one must read at night. The book Theories of Reading also states some of the side effects of immobile silent reading. These side effects are fatigue, congestion, constipation, susceptibility to colds, headaches, weakening of the eyes, and other ailments. And the article of Read or Not to Read by Joya, they state that the statistics correlate with the fact that poor reading skills lead to lower level financial and job success. Lastly, I will cover some disorders that can affect a person's reading. Most disorders are caused due to certain ways the brain functions. One of the most common disorders is dyslexia. According to the web article, How Reading Changes the Brain by Guinevere Eden, the brain functions differently for people who have dyslexia. Some parts of the brain are less active when reading. Also, in the article, Disorders of Reading and Writing, published by the American Speech Language Hearing Association, dyslexia is when a person has difficulty with accurate and or fluent word recognition, poor spelling, and language comprehension. Another disorder shared by ASHA pertaining to reading in specific comprehension deficit or hyperlexia, where a person can have inadequate reading comprehension, adequate or advanced word recognition skills, adequate reading fluency, and may have social, cognitive, or linguistic deficits. Lastly, dysgraphia is a disorder where a person has difficulty organizing and adequately expressing thoughts in writing, difficulty constructing grammatically correct sentences of varying types, and difficulty using writing conventions, limited written fluency, synthetic formulation problems, and word choice limitations. To conclude my speech, I want to thank you for listening to the reasons reading is good for you, the reasons reading could be bad for you, and learning along with me about the disorders that affect people when it comes to reading. I hope no matter the difficulty you may or may not have at reading, that my speech has helped inform you about why it's good and bad for you to read.
I'm not reading no more.
She's like, never